Fáilte, and welcome to the day that my author copies have finally arrived from Llewellyn. I got a big box this morning, and the box was actually supposed to be here on Tuesday, I believe, but there was a mix-up over the address and it went astray, and I didn't know where the box was or what neighbour had it, and it's been a whole thing through the week, and it didn't help my already overwhelmed state. This book represents a real journey for me. I mean, both in the content, because being able to write a book on a practical guide to Pagan Priesthood, which is what the book is, it's the title of the book, being able to write that has taken me the 25 years that I've been actively studying within pagan communities and actively observing how wrong it's been done in some cases and the good examples in other cases, and learning from, both other people's mistakes and other people's good examples. And I've been an avid student of both of those side of things for a very, very long time. And then obviously running my own communities and my own groups, and being in a position of leadership and education and community responsibility and management and all of those things. So in that respect, it's a culmination of my life's work, which is big, right? It's really big. But the actual writing of this book, when I first signed a contract with Llewellyn, it was not for this book. It was for a totally different book. And that book and that contract was at a time in my life where there was a lot of personal stuff going on. It's like 3 years ago, maybe more, 4 years ago. There's a lot of stuff going on for me, and which obviously I'm not going to go into. Family stuff was happening, and it ended up with me basically having to move back in with my mother, me and my son, in Waterford. So I moved from Roscommon to Waterford and ended up staying with my mum for a while, for about a year, with no money, no business, and the original book deadline due. And so that book was finished, and I will be very, very honest and say that it was very badly finished, because my mental health was in the worst place it's been probably ever in my life at that point. So I turned in that book, and it was terrible. It was a really terrible book. But my editor was willing to work with me, and I tried to, rewrite the book. And as my situation improved and my health improved and my business started to grow and all those things, all it was doing was dragging me back down. And it just kept bringing me back to that place. Every time I picked up that book, it just kept bringing me back to that place where I was. And that's what that original book kind of came to represent. So in the interest of my sanity, I had a very honest conversation with my editor at Llewellyn, and that's Alicia Gallo, and she is a fucking saint, people. She is amazing. She has been nothing but supportive to me through this whole process, and everybody at Llewellyn has been amazing. And I basically offered, do you want me to return? I can't write this book, this original book. Do you want me to return, the fee that you paid me, and we'll just scrap the contract? Or do you want me to write a different book? Because I have an idea for a different book, which I think is more needed in the pagan community generally, rather than just my Irish paganism stuff specifically, which the original book had been about. But I could really see there was a growing need for this book, which had been growing for a long time, but there were a couple of scandals that came out at the time, and there was stuff that I was seeing within the communities. And even in the last 2 years, things are really moving and improving. But, if you think back to kind of a year and a half, 2 years ago, this was the book that I felt was needed, and I still feel is needed. So this is the one that I wrote, and it was still a kind of a hard process because I was still tied up in all that original baggage. But having it here and having it in front of me is special and important for me. And hopefully, at least you've called it a game changer, hopefully it will help and support the community that I'm in service to as a priest. Because that's my role, my function, my responsibility is to be of service. And that's why I wrote this book. So, without further ado, this is actually my second unboxing video that I did today because I got a lovely present of Ogham staves. And I'm just about to start at Llewellyn. We are starting this year's annual run of the Ogham Journeys course. So it was a very timely present from a student. And so watch out for another unboxing video on the Ogham stuff, which I will post later. As this day has been coming closer and closer, it's been really difficult because it hasn't felt real to me. It's felt like, did I even really write this book? You know, like I was so out of it for the first part of it still, and it's been a real journey of recovery and still is a process of living with mental health issues and family trauma and all those things, which never really go away. You just kind of learn how to live with them and cope with them better, maybe. And that's what I've been doing. In the midst of all that, this hasn't felt real to me. It's starting to feel a bit real. It is a beautiful cover. Of course, I've seen the cover before, but I'm really, really happy with the design that Llewellyn did and how they listened to me through the whole process and how we worked together to make this book the best that it could possibly be. And I'm really grateful. And so let me go through the chapter list for you. I'm not going to read an excerpt of the book. You can go to loraobrien.ie/priest and you can get more information about the book, and I'll put a link to that in the thing below. But we have our introduction. What is a pagan priest? Who is this book for? And how I came to write this book. And then in section 1, we have the duties of a priest, which are pastoral duties, sacerdotal duties, modern paganism, where we're at, and there's a self-assessment, a leadership self-assessment, and a reflection and review on priesthood. Section 2 is pastoral skills and development. So this is very practical. So we're talking about group leadership, we're talking about group management, and all that comes with that. We're talking about community leadership, including a very important chapter on ethics and accountability, which again, initially was one of my main reasons for wanting to write this book. Leadership qualities, turning qualities into skills, how to develop as a leader. Chapter 7 is learning and teaching. And chapter 8 is crisis care, being available, being prepared, being funded. Section 3 is the sacerdotal skills and development. So just for anybody who's not familiar, pastoral is basically your community work. So the work that you're doing out and about as a priest within the communities. And your sacerdotal work is your inner mysteries kind of work. So it's the work that you're doing in worship and devotion for the deity, either personally or for groups or for the community, but it's that connection to deity, okay? And you don't have to do both to be a priest. We do cover that quite extensively in the book. So there's communication with deity, devotion to deity, magical skills and ethics, life rights and community celebration, and then the conclusion. And then we do have actually the appendix is priesthood in modern pagan traditions. So there are a number of people who from the community who were good enough to answer some interview questions for the book. And I've included their responses in the appendix at the back. And then of course there's recommended resources and online and books. So it really is a beautiful book, and I'm very happy with it. It feels a bit real, and thank you for everybody who's supported me along the way. Thank you for everybody who's bought copies. I know that the pre-sales were huge, so huge thanks for that. And I really hope that this book helps to at least, set the bar, and that other people come along and then raise the bar, because we can do better as a community. We can definitely do better, and there's tools in here that we can use. So Gur Mágat, agus slán go fóill, and I will see you in the next video.